Hi guys, I hope you're well. It's June 17th and I am doing a reading probably on detention centers, okay, and what's going to happen to them and the companies that support them in a way or another. So before I get started, I wanted just to discuss a few things. Okay, I noticed the first thing is that I've noticed sometimes people who are a lot of times new followers to the channel write on the comments requests for readings, okay? And I just wanted to say, to ask that before you make a request, that you search the videos, right? You just go on YouTube or Google, just say Terror Politics between quotes, and then whatever subject. For example, recently I got a request for Stephen Miller readings, and I personally even searched quote unquote right between quotes Terror Politics and Stephen Miller, and I've done 4 readings. Okay, so and the most recent one was 2 weeks ago, and the number is 256. So you can either search by subject, or if you know the number, you can search Terror Politics and then 256, and the reading on Stephen Miller is going to come up. And since this was done 2 weeks ago, after I had done the reading on the missing kids, I don't think it's necessary to do another one, okay? And also I wanted to say, and not to say, I feel like I don't like the bragging thing, or it's not like something to brag about, but when I had done the reading on the kids, the missing kids, when all we knew was that there was these kids missing, I had seen these detention centers, the mothers crying, and the kids in these places that looked like kind of like prisons a little bit, but it was like, it wasn't exactly like prisons, but it was like these like wire frame kind of places or whatever, like wires with chicken wire kind of, I don't know. And then, and then at the beginning of that reading on the missing kids, I said, because I forgot about it, because I do so many readings, and then the emotional anchor for that reading was obviously the kids and the mother, so that stayed on my mind, but not Stephen Miller. But if you watched that reading, I had mentioned, this was like 3 weeks ago or whatever, I saw that the image of Stephen Miller being the core person, and the image of him watching these old-fashioned, not old-fashioned, these old Nazi movies, Nazi speeches and Hitler and so forth. So I just wanted to mention that, okay, that this is not new, okay? If you've been watching the videos for a little while, you would know that. And anyway, so I'm going to stop. I've talked about the videos that you can search. I talked about Stephen Miller, and I just wanted to talk about the topics that are going on right now that I want to do, and I don't know when I'll be able to do them. The other one is Trump and the IRS. I don't think I've ever done a reading on the IRS specifically, because I feel like what happened with the lawsuit against the Trump organization is that Barbara Underwood, I think she forwarded some of this to the IRS. So what's going to happen, okay, between Trump and the IRS? Obviously, we know that there was this issue that he's never made his tax returns public. We don't know what, so that would be an interesting question to ask. Okay, also Eric Trump, I've done readings on him, but not recently. And so going back to the topics of the detention centers, there's two things I wanted to talk about before I get on the readings related to the detention centers. One is that I've noticed some people have emailed me or left comments asking whether, I think is it Walmart behind this? And I just wanted to say, guys, it's a cluster of people and companies that are behind everything. It's very easy, and it's a very Trumpian thing to say, oh, it's one thing, it's that thing. It's always a multiple set of factors that enable something to happen, okay? So I don't want to go into like, oh, is this company or that company? No, it's not one thing, okay? It's a set of circumstances, and I don't think, even if it's like, well, it used to be in a Walmart store, whatever, it's not really the point. The point is that the government orchestrated these things, and they hired contractors to carry out these things. And there's multiple interests involved in this, from the prison, like I said, a private prison system. And there's this company I saw on Twitter, I think it's called General Dynamics. General Dynamics is the company that runs these detention centers, at least, I guess, one of them or a few of them. And it's a company traded. It's a public company. So if you research them, you can find the names of the board of directors and all these people who are involved in this. Okay, and it's traded on, I forgot New York Stock Exchange, I think. Okay, so anyway, so like I said, I don't. It's not about whether like, oh look, it's this person or that person, or let's like it's him or no, it's a say everybody, but it's like it's all these companies that are profiting from the Trump administration. It's the Trump administration itself. It's whoever gets a kickback. It's everyone who lets it pass. Okay, so so my question is, like I said, I don't want to, it's like who is behind it is not the very interesting question. The better question is, will, how much longer will this go on for? And I remember when I did the reading about the kids, I saw 4 months. I don't know if it's still true. So let's look into the lifespan of these detention centers for the kids, and also all the companies on different levels that are making this happen. Okay, they essentially are providing the operations. Are we going to see a kind of like a Nuremberg trials for these companies? Okay, because that's what I would want. I want not just justice, but we want the truth and how they operate. It has to be made public. Okay, because it's not fair. It's not fair to us. It's not fair to the kids. We need to know what's going on. Okay, so that's that. I think what I'm going to do now, as I have explained everything in detail, is to do a reading on these detention centers. Okay, and then another day, because I feel like, guys, there's only so many of these dark readings that I can do. I feel like lately I haven't had a lot of like, I've done one reading where I laughed, but it's like, it's intense. So I don't always get a chance to do that. So I don't want to do a reading on ICE right after this, because it's like not every, not always. Okay, just I try to space out these like darker things. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do now, guys. Once I'm gonna have to grab the battery thing connector. So that's that. Now, so the question is, how much longer will these detention centers go on for? A, and then B, will these companies that are behind this, now I'm not talking just about the companies that provide the shelter. I'm talking about the companies like Palantir that create the database for ICE, like this whole system of criminalizing immigrants, okay, separating the kids. How much longer will this go on for, and whether, this is what I really want, guys, I want justice for all of the people, every single person who touches this system, okay? Essentially, if you think of it, supply, what is it called? Supply chain, okay? Essentially, the whole system of like from when they start tracking immigrants, how they use, what are the database details to who makes these decisions, how the children are treated, which companies have contracts with, all of these people, all of them. I want to see justice for them as a collective and then individually, okay? So, but let's see. Let's just ask, tell me more about the detention centers, all right? Okay, detention centers. Detention centers. I'm going to lower this, guys, so we can see this, okay? So, okay, detention centers. Let's find out more about these detention centers. How much longer will these detention centers go on for? Okay, that's the first part of the question. Let's ask that separately. How much longer will these detention centers go on for? This, I'm gonna shuffle and then do the cards first and then talk about it. It's interesting because people want to move on, they can't, and there's a deal, okay? There's a connection here, and there's money. So just, okay, let's see here. Okay, so, all right, so, okay, so tell us about how much longer these detention centers that house the children are going to go on for. And then how much longer will these detention centers go on for? And I'm fully aware, guys, that the timing question is not very reliable, but it's a way, it will tell us either about events or, okay, it will just give us a bit more information. Okay, university, that makes sense. Oh, prison, okay, yeah. Great happiness, okay. So how much longer will these detention centers go on for? Okay. So guys, you know, it's funny because the reading is so far the cards are saying what I feel like I've seen exactly the same thing before in the readings about the kids. That before I show you the cards, it's like they organized the whole thing so they could make money from it, okay? And that it's an attack on women in general, and it's about making money from families, okay? It's like but I feel like this is not new, but let me just, I think because of the subject, I'm going to talk about, I'm going to pull the cards, okay, first. So here we have the they're trying to cross, right? They're literally trying to cross to calmer waters and they can't. And that's when the fox, this is what's like disgusting about, that's when the fox comes, right? The fox is like, if you're in a difficult situation, the fox comes, it's the card of treachery, grief and adversity. Okay, obviously causes grief and adversity to people, and it causes them to be sick, but it's also a sick thing to do. We know that, okay? All right. And then this is the first step. And then the second step, this is the part of essentially alliances. Obviously, the part of the soulmates, the connections, sick alliances, right? This is dark karma, heavy debt, or those. It's like worry, negative things leading to prison. And here's the mother with the kids, guys. Look, the card, perfect card for this. Putting the mothers, look how sick. So they'd have a deal. There is some sort of deal here that is dark and horrible to create a prison for the mothers and the children. See, because it's in a way, it's obviously there's a historical parallel, which is the Nazi period. But I think it's also like this sickening attack on women. This is, I think I've said over and over again, it's this administration is really sadistic and hates women to the extent that they're doing this, right? It's so strange. It's like it's weird, okay? So this is money, okay? The King of Pentacles, a lot of money, family, okay? So they feel like, oh, there's a lot of money to be made in attacking families. I'm not making fun, but I'm just like, that's how they present it. They probably have like a PowerPoint presentation. Oh, look, there's a 200 billion to be made from putting families in prison. And this is the fortune, right? And this is shady money, okay? So quid pro quo. So guys, seriously, it's a money thing for them. It's for them, it feels like, it's like, whoa, fight. It's like, I'm feeling it. I'm closing my eyes, I'm going to tell you, okay, about this. So yeah, so when the Trump presidency, the far right, crazy people, and the Russians and all that, although the crew, they kind of organized this. They were like, we're going to split this country into the white people and everybody else, because we can't win elections without, we can't win elections if we have the progressives, and progressives are usually women and people of color, and we don't care about them anyway, so we just don't want any immigrants. Let's get rid of them, whatever. So at the same time, we have, we've seen that Jeff Sessions is always pushing for the people in jail who smoke pot or something. I don't smoke pot, by the way, but it's like so pathetic. There's so many issues, you know, so many crimes. They want to put people in prison. Why? Because there's profit to be made, obviously, right? And then the evil people get happy. And so the only way, if you think about it, the reason why money is connected to this evil people is because the evil people alone can't execute it by themselves. But if they present to someone as a means, oh, look, you can make money. Oh, perfect. So it's out of their hands. You know what I mean? So anyway, so then they were like, yeah, we can make a lot of money that way. And guys, oh my God, it's so dark. It's so dark. It's showing me the image, guys. I'm sorry to say this, but it's showing me, and you know this about how was it BMW? Volkswagen in the Second World War was they built cars with slave labor, okay, of Jews and other people. I think mostly Jews. So there was all these German companies that used slave labor, and I think that's where they honestly, guys, this image is coming. Okay, they were so sick. They were like, oh yeah, of course we can, get these people to work for free. To eventually the plan. Okay, so it's like they're sick because they kind of just study the Nazis and they're like, oh, we could do this. That's cool. And so that's the thing. Targeting mothers. Okay, and the shady money. Okay, there was all this shady money around it, and I think there's also kickbacks. Okay, there's kickbacks. Yeah, to them, guys, and in a way, one thing that I'm always, banging on about on Twitter, or whatever, I go against like some tech people. It's like this very easy to see people as numbers. Okay, and apparently now the kids have barcodes, so whenever they go eat in these places, they're scanned. Like my stepdad. I'm not Jewish, by the way, but my stepdad uncle had my stepdad is Jewish, so he passed away, but he had numbers on his forearm, okay, because they were from Germany, and they had to leave, okay. So but the uncle he went to a concentration camp, but he managed to escape, but he of course still had numbers on his forearm, okay. So anyway, so I want to say it's kind of like it's the prelude to this, okay. So it's not going to happen, I don't think, but this is what I wanted to say to bring up the whole thing about tech and the binary mindset is that it's like this, oh, of course, we remove these people, we make a lot of money, and, they could even work for us for free. Whatever, is honestly, it's like their mindset. So this is why it's so easy I'm just explaining how they think, guys, okay? They think of people as everything is numbers and everything is like, and I'm not talking about the way that people say, oh, capitalism, not the classic critique of whatever capital. I'm not saying that, but I feel like in general they see humans as malleable, which is they don't understand human nature, right, or spirituality or anything. But so this is what it's explaining. The cards, and I'm going to show you now. We'll lower this again, so you see it's very clear. It's like there's no real. Like it's very clear. So okay, so it's very simple and very easy here. There's no like, it's not like there's any doubt, or it's just like very black and white here, the cards. So this is what it shows, okay? So there's all this money behind it, but it didn't show. I asked that, for some sort of timing, it didn't give me. Okay, but let me try to, okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna close, was here and here, okay? So I'm gonna close my eyes again, and I'm going to ask, until when? How is this going to end? Until when is this going to happen? Okay, so what's happening? Oh, guys, they're saying, okay, so it's showing that the people are so outraged. And I remember this, when I did the reading about the 1500 cards. People are so outraged. All the local televisions, people are calling, go there. You have to do something. The Republicans are scared, okay? Because I think, and he's even showing me one of the quotes, they're like pissed this is happening because they're investing so much money in the Republicans, and they know that there's no way that there's a few crazy people who are still gonna like make this like somehow it will be able to rationalize this, but most people no. And the thing is, guys, women, I understand some people are like kind of crazy, that they can see the picture with the crying child if you've seen it, but I think if you're gonna sell yourself as the family values party, are you gonna let separation of families happen? How is that possible? How can you even say that? So I feel like there's just, guys, it's showing so much pressure. A lot of like very wealthy, very famous people calling and like threat, like, you gotta stop this. I'm gonna do this. It's like people are so angry. Everybody, most people are, the only people who are not angry about this are the really sick and twisted people. Okay, so So I think there was just so much pressure, and I feel like, guys, it's showing me the image of a train. Like when I was little, when I was a teenager, I used to spend the summer in this town, small town in Brazil, and there used to be a hill where you could go. Some people you would like take their bikes and go downhill. It was very dangerous because it was so steep. So it's kind of like this. It showed me the image of a little train if it's like a hill and you can't stop it. So I feel like the whole thing, the donors are trying to stop it. So many Republicans, even it's like the Bush, a lot of even the people, even some of these religious people are trying to stop it, not because they care too much, but because they know the political price they're going to have to pay because of this. Okay, so then I feel like they're showing like, and it's showing the thing of the falling train, from the hill, is that the Trump administration is so disorganized in the sense of like, I've always felt that this is their main goal. Okay, bigotry and hatred and racism, that's what they care about. So it's almost like they let it happen. It's a little bit like, if I go on that hill with the bike, the odds are I'm going to fall and hurt my knee and whatever because it's too steep. But they let it, but then if something happens, obviously I would be to blame because I decided to go down the hill. Like, and it's showing that the people, all these people who let Trump happen and all this, they're like, oh, it's showing Gorka and Mueller and all these people, they should know this was going to happen, sooner or later, but they didn't care because they were so thirsty for power. So it's showing that like the whole thing is, yeah, the little train kind of crashing down, and yeah, so 3 to 4 months. I feel like 3 to 4 guys. Yeah, I feel like it's showing. I don't know if it's true. Again, 3 or 4 months. Okay, because it's showing the administration imploding. Okay, all the indictments coming out, and it's like impossible. Okay, because people are so incompetent and like they have destruction is their only goal. It's not really, they don't have anything to stand for. So once people start getting indicted, the rats are get really scared and they either try to leave or it's like the whole thing kind of like it. I do think it implodes. Okay, so what happens? What happens to these companies and these kids? What happens to them? I see them being liberated, guys. It's so sad because I'm using the word that is used for liberating concentration camps. I'm saying using it right. They're being liberated from these camps, the little kids, and the mothers are there to get, they're kind of able to. I think there's going to be some sort of commission, obviously not made up of the Trump administration, and now they're going to stop these camps. There is some sort of injunction, legal injunction against the companies that do this. They're going to get the data from Palantir. They'll be able to do that. They'll be able to reunite majority of them. Unfortunately, and bless them, some of the parents might even be dead because they were deported to like these dangerous places. And I think, but I think it's very urgent, okay. And I think, but I think, guys, honestly, I think there's gonna be these legal battles. Their administrations are gonna try to stop this from happening. Okay, they're gonna want to keep the kids there, okay. And it's gonna be, but it's gonna come to a point where the administration itself is going to kind of fall. They just kind of are gonna like, it's gonna come to a halt, okay, when Trump leaves, okay. So, and then I don't want to get into it's like I feel like these days sometimes I talk a lot in the readings because there's so much context. Because then people are gonna be like, oh, so what about Pence? So what about this? Just trust it, guys. It's gonna fall apart, okay? Regardless of, we'll think about the details later, but this is what I'm seeing, okay? So when the whole thing falls apart, that's when the whole thing comes to a halt, okay? And yeah, and I think the FBI, even the military, guys, even the military. I've said this before. The image I'm getting, guys, is crazy, and it just goes to show how dark this is. It's showing the role of the military in liberating the concentration camps in the Nazi era, and how the military might help liberating these kids today. Isn't that crazy? This is how dark it is. Okay, because I think even the FBI may not be prepared for this sort of work. Okay, so so it's done relatively quickly, that when the camps are liberated and the kids are reunited with the mothers, and But I think the companies, yeah, there are legal injunctions. They are made. They have to return the money that the government gave them. They are going to be charged with things. People who work for these companies are going to be charged with I don't know exactly what, but after, right? Because the main thing is to stop this. And like I said, now there are legal injunctions. There's going to be these little legal battles, quick succession of them. Okay. And the government's not going to be able to like keep fighting them until the government falls apart for several reasons. And that's that. Okay. So I'm going to stop here. Okay. Because I realize this reading is pretty, there's a lot of information in it. In a way, it's short, but it's also that I'd rather just stop and then do other readings that are related to this, because then the questions come to my mind. What about Jeff Sessions? Is he going down? I know he has to talk to Mueller because he's involved in this whole Russia conspiracy thing, but he's also so involved. He's at the heart of it. You know, at his heart, his dark heart is a bigot. You know, he's the bigot of the bigotest of them all. So I have to look into him. You know, and his role in this. So I'm gonna stop here, guys, because there's just a lot of readings to do. Okay.